Mm, just look off. Whatever. All right. All right. Ethan, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
There
How
we
you
go,
doing?
baby. It's good to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you.
Oh man. Okay. So yeah, just to recap, my name's Brendan. I know that you went out to sea for a while. You were in the stewards department and a deckhand, which is pretty
Hmm.
cool. My dad's out at sea right now, actually. He's coming from Singapore over to Diego Garcia.
Oh well. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've done that trip out to Singapore and back. That's a long
yeah,
one.
it is. Good suits.
Yeah.
For sure. So yeah, man, the whole sort of purpose of this call is just to learn a little bit about each other, what your goals are, see how I can help, give you some tips because I know that you said that you were just trying different ad strategies.
Yeah.
And I can kind of get you in the right direction at the very least. And
Good.
if it turns out that we're a good fit to work together, then great, we can talk about that too. All right.
Okay. Perfect.
Cool, man. So what are you hoping to accomplish in like the next 6 months with your business? Are you trying to get more employees, get more stable income, maybe go into some new areas?
Actually, believe it or not, we're looking to sell it. So we're
Oh,
we're looking to move on, but we need to keep it going and get it going strong for that sale.
see. Okay, I
Yeah.
understand. How long have you
And
had this business for?
not very long.
Okay. Did you
And
just realize you didn't want it, or it's just nice to sell
yeah,
business?
no, we realized we don't want it. The other business we have is doing much better,
Oh,
and yeah, it's just it's more of what we're looking for. And this business is taking too much time away from us, and it's too much hands-on.
I got you. Yeah, that makes
But
sense.
whatever advertising we have in place, we want to keep it for the new owners. So,
Definitely. Okay.
but it could take some months. So we want to grow this as much as we
Yeah,
can and
it
minimize our loss.
definitely. When it comes to like organic listings and getting an organic following to something that's stable, I've got what I think I told you what I used to do is I would actually go into the area first. I would build out a website, get a Google Maps listing, and I would rank it up myself just on my own
Mhm.
dollar and then pass off the leads to local business owners. I've done that a few
Okay.
times. It's helpful, but it just takes too long for me. So I decided to get into paid ads and work on the organics over time with somebody. It just made more
Okay.
sense for me. So as far as timeline goes, I would say organic listings, things like that. If you've got a good strategy and you're not in too competitive of an area, it could take anywhere from like 3 to 6 months to start getting about 14 to like maybe 20 calls a month for insulation. Um,
Okay.
so where do you sit with your organic listings so far? Like you've got a website, all the rest?
Yeah, we have a website. We're doing PPC right now. We're
Hmm.
doing Facebook advertising, which is
Gotcha.
a newer thing. And yeah, I don't know. I think the PPC is doing okay right now. I just think it could do better.
Yeah, definitely. And when it comes down to, competing against other digital marketers with PPC, if you get one extra sale, it typically pays for the service charge of having a marketer with you. So it's
Yeah.
kind of just one of those things that makes sense. It's unfortunate because I know, like 30 years ago, we had yellow pages and all you had to do was buy a page on the yellow pages and that's your marketing finished. But
Yeah.
these days, everybody kind of has a different technicality and something that they have to be good at to be able to compete. It's just kind of like the
Yeah.
unfortunate thing about owning a business these days. Um,
Hmm.
so yeah, I'll definitely say, it's good that you've got some things going on for you. When did you decide that you wanted to sell your business?
Uh, Probably 2 months ago.
2 months ago? Okay. And you're
Yeah.
trying to sell it as soon as possible, but you want to optimize the volume so that you get a better price.
Yes. And yeah, we just want to keep it going. I have, 3 really good employees, so I want to keep them employed. Yeah. So, although we're getting rid of it, I still care about it and want
Yeah.
it to do well. Yeah.
I completely understand that.
Yep.
When it comes down to your marketing, are you doing like a commission basis with Facebook ads or something like that?
Uh, well, we just started with a bigger media company called Drive Media.
Okay.
So yeah, they're going kind of going all in on it, and they're going to even send a crew out to videotape us
Whoa.
and on site. So it should be a nice local presence.
Definitely. Yeah, that definitely matters for branding for sure. And long
Yeah.
term, when it comes down to somebody who's actually looking to buy the business, they want to see that it's
Yeah.
already branded. It just makes it feel better.
Yeah.
Knowing that those building blocks are already in place.
Mhm.
So what sort of services do you offer? Is it just like, do you offer spray foam? Do you do new construction?
No spray foam, no new construction.
Okay, so
So
crawl
we're in
space,
a niche. We're in a niche insulation service, which is foam injected insulation.
foam injected insulation.
Yeah, it's a retrofit application for older homes. So houses that don't have any insulation, we can drill from the outside and inject foam and then plug it.
Okay. So the people who get in touch with you, do they typically know about this or are they just saying I need attic insulation?
It's kind of a little bit of both. If they come to our website, we have videos, we explain it all.
Right.
So they might know about it. And it's starting to become more well known, this
Yeah, I
type of service.
mean, I have 5 insulation clients right now, and I have not even heard the term foam injected insulation.
Yeah, yeah.
Nobody's even
So
mentioned that
it's
to me.
okay. Yeah, it takes a very, specialized rig and foaming system and the right, resin and foaming agent. So it's quite complicated. Just
Okay,
like spray foam's complicated, but spray foam's more well known.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, so foam injected insulation. Do
So
you
it has to be
hmm?
it has to be closed off, has to be, drywall already up, so we
Okay,
can't spray it in. So
okay,
we have to drill and then fill it.
got you. So what are the types of jobs that qualify for something like this? Anybody who's looking for attic insulation or has insulation that needs to be removed and replaced? Um,
Well, I mean, the attic is different. We do the standard, fiberglass blow-in for attics,
okay,
but this foam is only for walls.
got you. Okay.
So we don't do spray foam in attics, but we can remove insulation. We have an extraction machine, and we can replace it with loose fill fiberglass.
Got you. Okay. So you do removal. Um, yeah, the foam injected, I need to get educated on that, understand the consumer market with that for sure. That's
Yeah.
a new term for me. Um,
Yep.
but we can go over that real quick actually. I'll show you
Mhm.
how I do the market analysis and what I could expect for you. Just based on
Yeah.
what Google Analytics tells me.
Yeah.
Um, okay. So you do blow-in attic insulation and removal. Do you do other types of insulation? What's most of your market look like?
It's a good mix between attic and wall foaming,
Wall
and
foaming.
then we do some um, crawl spaces, just batting, R30 batting.
Okay. Cool. Okay. Awesome. So your Facebook advertising, that's just a whole social media marketing campaign that you're working on. Um, That's good. And typically, as you know, it's kind of cheaper to run ads for Facebook, but the leads aren't as great as say you might get with Google. Um, and the reason for that is because on Facebook, they're not actually looking for you, you're looking for them. They're kind of just sitting on their toilet and their therapist, Mark Zuckerberg, said that you should probably do some insulating. And then
Yeah.
as far as with Google, they're actually going to Google, they're searching insulation in their area, they're looking to get a job done, so they call you with intent. So that's what you might call like a hot lead versus a warm lead. And then of course
Mm-hmm.
you've got the cold outreach, which some people do, some people don't.
Mm-hmm.
It's the cheapest, is kind of the way that it works is, you'll pay less for cold outreach than you will for warm leads like Facebook than you will for PPC through Google Ads campaigns.
Yeah.
So, like, how's your Google ad campaign running? Like, you've been running it for what, 2 months now?
No longer than that. Since October, maybe September of last year.
Okay, so like 7 months.
Yeah. It was okay during the wintertime. It was decent. It's definitely dropped off. I mean, I'm sure all insulation companies are feeling that now with
Mhm.
spring here.
Yeah. Yeah, we're definitely hitting the weird transition months, and then once you get into summer, it does change. Like it'll pick up again for sure.
Yeah.
Um, okay. Um, so about how much are you spending on PPC, and how many leads are you getting a month with it on average?
I think we're spending 2,000 a month right now.
Okay. Is that with
And
like an agency or anything like that?
that's with an agency, and I think they're charging 500 or something like that.
Gotcha. Okay. 2000. And then they charge something like 500 a month service.
Yep.
Okay. I understand. About how many leads are you getting?
That's hard to say. It fluctuates month to month.
Yeah.
Right now, very, very few.
Really?
It could be half a dozen to 10.
Okay. Okay. I understand. So it looks like you've got some pretty good strategies. You're kind of hitting all the bases. Do you have any questions for me about digital marketing that's kind of on your mind?
Not necessarily, just kind of more of what you're doing and how
Yeah.
you think you're doing it better than the other people.
Yeah, absolutely. At the end of the day, I do have something that I do a little bit differently than most people. And I appreciate you sharing this information with me, giving me your time. I know like there's not an installation business owner there out there that really has 10 minutes to spare. you know. So
Hmm.
I definitely appreciate that, man. And you've got this other
Yeah.
business that you're working on as well. Um,
Yeah.
so the way that things kind of work for me is it's an end-to-end process where I build out a website because I know what converts because I'm used to going into specific service areas and ranking up pages without spending a dime other than 14 bucks a month for the website. So I build out the landing platform, I build out the landing pages, I build out a separate Google My Business or Google Maps listing separate from your business because I know how
Mhm.
to rank that up really well as well. So I like taking control of that entire process.
Mhm.
And then what that does is that helps over time with organic leads, and it takes up more space on the internet. So it's like let's say that you were ranked number 1 organically on Google. I'm sure that you've got all the training on how Google Ads works and all this. You're pretty familiar with it. So I shouldn't need to go over it, or do I?
No,
Um,
I'm,
okay,
I
cool.
understand. Yep.
Okay, cool. So you've got the sponsored stuff up top, and then you've got the Google Maps underneath that, and then you've got the organic listings beneath that, right? Most people say that the organic listings don't matter, and then you'll try to get some SEO guy to charge you 1,500 bucks a month for some keyword ranking, which is complete BS, you know?
Yeah.
And but what I will say is if you've got your own website, which is great and all branded, and you've got your own Google Maps listing, and that let's say they're both on number 1, that's great. But what I like to do is I like to get up to number 1 or number 2 as well. So you're not only the first person that they're calling, but you're also the second person that they're calling. And it's not that other business. So
Yeah.
it's sort of like a supplemental, separate online presence where people are like,
Mhm.
okay, cool. I checked these guys out and I'm here. It's like, oh, okay, well, yeah, let's just set up an estimate. Let's get this going. They'll just kind of
Yeah.
give up at that point, which is a good thing. And what that'll do is having a great website that's ranking high and that's connected to a Google Maps listing is you've got authority with Google now. Now they understand who you are, they understand what you're offering, and they understand it quickly. So not only are you getting free leads that way, but when you run ads off of it, now Google prefers you because you're closer to what people are looking for rather than when you run like a smart ads campaign or something like that. I don't know. Do you know the difference between smart and expert mode ads? Did they explain that to
Yep.
you? Okay.
Yep.
So some ad agencies, they'll do this thing and you should ask them. Ask them to open up their campaign. I can show you the difference so you can tell. You can start a Google Ads campaign, you know, 15 bucks, uh, 15 bucks a month, or 15 bucks a day, and you can set it up in like 5 minutes, and that's what most small business owners do because they just wanted to get on Google. That's all that they knew. And some ads agencies, they'll do that too. I'm not saying that these guys don't. It doesn't sound like that they do, but it's something to check because what Google does is they ask you a few questions, they run the campaign, and then it's just automated. And Google's goal is to take as much money from you as they take from the next person, but keep both of your businesses. So they would rather get $400 from 10 businesses than $700 from one business and give them all the leads, right?
Yeah.
So that's where a digital marketer comes in and they know how to leverage what you're looking for versus what Google wants to provide, and then also compete with the other digital marketers is kind of how that works. Because you
Okay.
have to have a more compelling ad. It needs to outperform the other ad for you to outbid them and then also show up in the top three that they'll show up on
Yeah.
the on Google ads. So there's a little bit of like a juggling game with that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So actually, I'm gonna show you real quick, um, sort of the difference here. Um, well, I can't show you a smart ad because I don't run smart ads, but I could show you what an expert ad looks like, and you can talk to your agency and make sure that they're actually spending that money and they're actually optimizing their campaign over time. Because a smart ad, you can't optimize it. There's very few things that you can really do to ensure that your ad campaign is bringing down the cost per click and increasing the impressions that you see, which ultimately increases the amount of calls that you get.
Mhm.
Um, I know that was a lot of words. Does that make sense still?
It does. Yeah.
Okay, cool. A lot of people are very confused when I get to this part of things. I'm not the
Mhm.
best at explaining things. I'm more of a doer,
Yeah.
that engineering background. Um,
So if I was to move forward with you, how quickly could we get this ramped up and going?
um, we could get started in about a week and a half max. And then what happens when you start a Google Ads campaign is Google decides, they just do their own decision on when am I going to start showing ads. It could be a week from the day that you start the campaign and get it all fleshed out, or it could be that
Mhm.
day and you start getting calls. So the way that, like, say, the billing cycle might work would be I would take the retainer, for you wanting to do business for me. Now I can pay my sister essentially to build this out. I'm pretty much a family operation here. Um, I could pay her to do the work for the month, and then when it comes time to actually spend the money, the ad money, that's when it would start. So I wouldn't say like, oh, the first month we were just getting started. Like, no, I want you to see the return on investment from like the day that you really invest in this.
Yeah.
So that's when the billing cycle would actually start. When you get that first lead, is
Okay.
really when it would start. Um, so as far as optimizing goes, here, let me show you really quick. I'll share my screen with you. We'll do screen number 2. Okay. Can you see my Google Ads campaign here?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I'll go into, I don't know. Sure, I'll go into this one. Um, Codings. Okay. So what you're going to find is on a smart campaign, what they can't do is put in negative keywords.
Mhm.
Okay. They won't be able to do negative keywords where when somebody searches for, let's say they weren't looking for concrete crack repair. Somebody searched for concrete crack repair, it turned into a click. You just paid $5 for that, right? They won't be able to say, okay, campaign, take off concrete crack repair. You know, they
Mhm.
won't have that ability. The other thing that they won't be able to do is adjust the bid adjustments or how they bid, as far as manual bidding. So let's say that there's a keyword that we know really converts, like let's say attic insulation really turns into clients for you and it's valuable and you
Mhm.
want to actually spend more of your ad budget on that. Well, what we would do is we would bid a higher amount than most people would on that because it converts better. With a smart campaign, you let the Google AI just do it. And it's a much easier process for a digital marketer or a small business owner to just kind of let it do its thing. But what happens is you get marginalized returns over time because you're doing exactly what that other business is doing, your
Mhm.
competition. So if you're not continually looking at things and kind of getting into the nitty gritty, over time, you're not going to see strong returns on investment. And in the worst case, it's going to stop performing because like it picked up something in the algorithm that wasn't right because AI doesn't get it right all the time. And now all of a sudden you have to add more to the ad budget and Google's going to play this gambling game with you where, okay, well, if I spend a little bit more, I'll get more return. And then you just end up spending like 2,000 bucks a month on ads where maybe you didn't need to, you know?
Yeah.
So that's kind of like where this comes in. Like right now I'm at $8 a day with these people. So what does that turn into? I've been getting them this is a different industry, so it is different, but $8 a day times 30. So they're spending 240 bucks a month right now on ads, and I've gotten them 100 calls since January for 240 bucks a month. You know, like I mean, if you know what you're doing, it's pretty good. Another thing to
Yeah.
look at if you're going to get into the campaigns with them and you're going to actually, compare us, is you're going to want to look at this thing, click through rates. So that's how many people looked at the ad versus how many people clicked the ad. If you have a high click through rate, which is anything over 4, if they have anything over 4%, I would say that they're doing okay. This campaign, it's doing pretty well. Most things are around like 8 to 10%, the occasional 16% for certain keywords. That's great.
Mhm.
All that means is that I'm showing up more and people are clicking me more. It doesn't necessarily mean more leads, but it's an indication, is what I'll say. Now, do you have any questions about that?
Nope. That
Okay,
all makes
cool.
sense.
Now, the other thing is I believe in accountability. So what I do is I set up a tracking number on the website. I set up a form submission where I track the forms as well. And every call that comes in, it's recorded. Um, so I can listen back to it. You can listen back to it. You can determine if it was a good lead, a bad lead, how much money it made you or it didn't. And the
Mhm.
same thing goes for the forms. So at the end of the month, I know which like I could pretty much control the process from start to finish. From here we have the search term, somebody put in epoxy floor and it turned into a click this week, and then I got a form submission asking for an epoxy floor that same day. I could say, okay, I know what this person did from start to finish and I can optimize for that. I could say that that was a bad lead and we don't want to do epoxy floors or what have you, and I could track that all the time. And you can ensure that you get your return on investment on it. So I guess what I would say is, there are good and there are bad digital marketing agencies out there. And I think a lot of it comes down to honesty. A lot of it comes down to method. Are you doing the best method for your business? Um, and you know that's basically what it is, and competency, like do they know what they're doing? A lot of people, they're looking for the easy way, or maybe they're not looking at the campaign as much, but you're not complaining, so they're not working on it. Maybe they're not holding themselves accountable. They just say, oh, like here's what some people do, and I don't trust this as far as I could spit, actually. Let's see, let's go to do I even have it here? There's this thing that says like conversions, and they might be sending that over to you as like a report. They'll say, oh, I'm getting I sent you 75 conversions this month. That's what an ad agency might tell you. And you might be like, but what does that mean?
Yeah.
Like who is that? Were they actually conversions? It really, what that is somebody just put a tracker on a website And anytime somebody goes to it, assuming that it's set up correctly, which I've set them up wrong before, actually, I do it often, honestly, and I just don't trust it. They just say, yeah, we sent you this much. It should be, the market rate for a lead is $30 in your area for insulation. So, you're making out. And I don't believe in that. I would
Yeah.
rather say, hey, like Michelle Acosta called you on this day. She was searching for this. What do you
Mm,
think about that lead? How can we do better? You know?
okay.
So that's kind of how I like to do things.
Mm,
Of course, the idea is that it's done for you marketing. So if you're happy with the results, we shouldn't need to talk often, you know? But while
yeah.
we're optimizing in the first 2 months, I got to learn more about your business. I got to hear like what leads are good, which ones are bad. I want to put in some effort into this. I don't want to just say that you're an insulation business
Mm,
and slowly build that up. It's a little bit of a relationship, but I would say, it pays off to not be so generic with somebody.
yeah. Okay.
Do you have any questions, comments, concerns about it?
No, I mean, I like where your head is on all this, and you're actually tracking it more probably than my current company.
Hmm.
You know, I could see this working out good, and I think I would like to move forward.
Okay, awesome, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, I'm pretty confident with what I do and how I do it. It really does come down to everything's a risk in a business, when it comes,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to marketing. They do have an optimized campaign. I don't know how well, but it's been matured
Mm,
at the very least. Um, so what I would suggest is don't fully divest from them. For
yeah.
the good of your own business, I wouldn't like if you've got something that's working with them and they're not just taking your money, then don't fully divest until we've proven ourselves on our end that everything's good
Yep.
and all we got to do is raise the ad budget. Because I'm not going to suggest a $2,000 ad budget. I'm just not. You know,
Yeah.
I like once it's optimized, I would say after a month or two, like 6 to 8 weeks, we can revisit it and say, hey, like, are we going to get more returns if we put more money into this?
Mm,
But the first month, we're just, it's called pixel firing. We're just throwing out pixels. We're just getting data and we're taking every bit of pixel fire that we get and we're trying to kind of like form it into exactly what we need for our business and just do our
yeah.
best at the end of the day. I'm not saying I'm better or worse than who you're working with, but I'm saying, I am honest and
Yeah.
this is my full time. This is everything that I do. I was
Mm,
the guy in the ad and I'm the guy you're talking to right now. Um,
yeah.
so that's just kind of how this works. I don't want to go back out to sea. Don't bring me back out to sea.
I'm the
You know
same.
what I mean?
That's why I'm here because I'm over it.
Exactly. You get over it and
Yeah.
then you realize like, man, I was actually working pretty hard out at sea because you bring that work ethic back and you're like,
Yeah.
I'm working like twice as hard as everybody else. Where did this
Yeah.
happen?
Yeah. I work 7 days a week, 80-hour weeks. So
Yeah.
to me, it's just kind of normal.
Yeah, absolutely. You just live what you do.
Yep. Yeah.
What's your other business, by the way?
It's called Sur Grout. So we do tile grout and stone restoration.
Oh, sick. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if this works with insulation, maybe I can help you get an ROI on that, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. That'd
Might
be
be
great to
fun to
look
look into.
into as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Um,
Perfect.
okay. So the question is, what is a reasonable ad budget to start out here? So do you have like maybe 10, 15 minutes for me to go over the analysis
I
with you?
do actually have a long drive.
Oh,
So
okay.
if you don't, so I can continue our conversation, but I'll probably just hop off the video and start driving.
Absolutely. Yeah, as long as you can see what I'm doing.
Okay.
That would be nice. If it, like just to glance at it, because
Yep.
for
Yep.
for me, like transparency and mutual education is kind of important for me.
Yep. So
Okay.
I'm just going to start my map here, but you can continue
Sounds
with
good,
what you're
man.
doing here. Yeah, 1 second here.
Okay. So let's see. Um, okay. So what I do is there's these other programs you can use and I pay for them and I have them for different purposes. But when it comes to Google Ads, I get it straight from the source. This is Google Ads Planner or AdWords Planner. And essentially
Uh,
what they do is you put in like about 10 keywords and it doesn't really have to be even 10. And
Yeah.
You put in like it'll spit out like 1,000 words, that people search for in that area. And then from there, you can see how many people are clicking it, how many people are searching that in your area. And you can get an idea of like, for this sort of result, like this many calls, how much am I probably going to have to spend? And Google just has this tool to use. I've found it to be pretty accurate, but of course, this economy has been really kind of unpredictable. In
Yep.
some ways, I would overperform. In other ways, I would underperform for the month on my predictions. But that's working in any market, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. First things first, you're really big on the foam injected insulation. So I'm just gonna keep that as a general thing to put in there. Then I'm gonna put in attic insulation, below in insulation.
But
Um,
yeah, like you were kind of talking about, not everyone knows about this,
yeah.
and so we kind of educate them. So if they are only looking for attic, we can ask them if they're looking to insulate their walls as well. And then they're like, oh, how do we do that? It's
Mm.
not open. Like, no, we can insulate your walls.
Oh, okay, I understand. That's actually pretty
Yeah.
cool. I love that. Okay, so I'll put in wall insulation contractors too.
Yep.
Um, okay. Now you wouldn't want to do
I
this
mean,
on a new construction though.
no, we're not supposed to do any homes that are, we need at least a 5-year-old home
Got you.
with
Okay.
the moisture content in the wood. It does not work well with the foam.
Okay, I understand. Um, let's see. Blow-in insulation crawl space, wall insulation contractors, no open or closed cell. Let's see. Oh, you do
But
bat insulation?
we do, mainly just for crawl spaces.
Okay.
But no, we don't really, insulate walls with bats.
Okay,
That's
got
typically new builds or remodels.
you. Do you think I should add that in there, like bat insulation contractors?
I don't think so.
Okay, I'll keep it out then.
It might be
Um,
just a waste of lead money.
Definitely. Yeah, like the way that I like to approach it is if we have a long landing strip to work with, we can open a wide net, make sure that it works, proof of concept, and it's always easier to close that net than it is to open it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, let's see.
So sometimes people call thinking we do spray foam, but then we educate them on what we're doing.
Yeah,
Or some people think spray foam can be used like foam injected, which, yeah, I mean, they heard of spray foam, but we can actually do their job with the injection.
oh, that's pretty cool. So would you want to do a market for spray foam?
Um, we wouldn't be able to take on the actual spray foam leads,
Hmm,
but we do have someone we give them to. But I don't know if we want to be spending money on it. I
right.
don't know.
And then also the business that you sell, I mean, they might equip themselves. I know it costs like 60K in equipment, but to do it right. Um,
Yeah,
but I'll say,
I've heard more like 100 to 150,000
yeah.
to get the
Oh,
spray
really?
rigs.
Oh,
Yeah,
dang. Um,
and then the profit margins are so low because they've doubled or almost tripled the price of spray
yeah.
foam.
So you're
You
not even
can't.
going to, sell as many, but then you
Yeah,
sell it for like 10K a job, but it's how long does it take to actually recoup that?
yeah,
Um,
it might be 10% profit margin.
right. Okay. So we'll just keep that out. That's fine. Um, let's see. I'm gonna have to write this down. Okay, so what's your main three service cities?
Uh, Bothell,
Could you spell that for me?
yeah, B as in boy, O
Uh-huh.
T H
Uh-huh.
E L L.
ELL. All right, Bothell. You're in South Carolina?
No, Washington,
Oh yeah,
Washington State.
Washington. Got it. Bothell. Okay, next one.
Um, it's kind of hard to say. I would probably have to look into this a little bit more, but um, it's kind of spread out all over the place. There's not like one city,
Oh, got you.
but
Well, maybe like a
maybe,
county.
yeah, Snohomish County.
Okay, Snohomish.
Yeah, SN Homish.
Okay. Okay. Then does that kind of like encapsulate most of your service area?
Most of it. We also do some King County, North King County.
North King County. Okay. Okay.
But it's
That
called
should.
King County, but it's just the north end. It won't
Oh,
probably come up as North King County.
okay. And I'll just put that in parentheses. Um, okay. And let's see. Um, so okay. And then Snohomish County in Washington. Okay. The whole county, huh?
For the most part.
Okay. That's a huge target area. That's awesome. Oh, right outside
Yeah,
Seattle.
a lot of that is unusable land or mountainous.
Got you. Okay. Um, wow, that's great.
So we're pretty much doing, South Snohomish, North King County, which
Okay.
comes to be like 30 to 40 miles radius.
Okay. I'll keep County out of the keyword planning for now. But I'll add it into the campaign and see how it performs. I'm just getting words here. All right.
But I could give you a list of like, our top 5 to 10 cities if you want.
Definitely before I start the campaign. This will just kind of give us an idea of like a good number to start where I'd be confident going into it with you. Um,
Yep.
and my service charge is the same as theirs. You know, I do 500 a month service charge. Um,
Yep.
yeah, and then I build out the platform and all that. Like the setup, I don't charge a setup fee or anything. It's just kind of included. So, you know,
Yep.
the new business is going to get, you know, essentially two websites to pull from. Of course, they're rented out to me because you're not paying for it. You're not worried about it at all. It's all done for you. So if you stop
Yeah.
working for me, then, you know, I keep the website.
Yeah.
um, okay, so we've got foam injected insulation gets 0 hits. That's funny. Blow-in insulation. Okay, that's pretty good. Yeah, everything's down. All these keywords are down. This is definitely a tough time to start the campaign in this area.
Yeah.
um,
What about spray foam? Is that doing well right now?
let me check. Actually, I can do Google Trends. There's all these little tools that we can use. Um, let's see. Spray foam. Explore. Let's see how it's trending over in. We'll just do Washington State. Oh wow. For whatever reason, it hit an insane popularity. Oh, oh wait, hold on. Okay, this is just the past day. Let's do the past year, or yeah. Let's see what it cycles into. It's on a downward slope. It's like median heading down to a low. Um, it was pretty high in April. It seems like it hits January, April, February, the first of the months, really. Like the first 2 weeks of every month, it seems to, yeah, first 2 weeks of December. That's interesting. Yeah, in September, it hit a sharp turn down. I don't know what happened there. But yeah, that's what it's looking like over in Washington. So it's also looking pretty down,
Yeah. Yeah.
unfortunately. But that's fine, you know. Maybe we'll get this campaign started and we'll start it with a very low ad budget so we're not actually spending much money, we're not expecting too many results, and then as we see the popularity come up, we'll match that with more ad spend and we'll have it rolled over, you know. So then
Okay.
you kind of hit the hard months even harder, and then after it actually gets optimized, that's when you kind of want to coast out and keep it steady, and you'll still get good leads in dry months and things like that, which is the point of pay-per-click advertising, by the way, is
Yeah.
steady marketing, you know, rather than, you know, referrals and going with the seasons. um, so when you've got a good pay-per-click advertiser, it provides a lot of like kind of insurance, to your business. And it looks like you're covering all fronts already, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Actually, I haven't met too many business owners who are so well put together in that regard. Um, okay, so I'm gonna select these over, um, add them to a plan, and let's see. We go over to the forecast, all saved keywords. Um, bring this over into my other window real quick. Um, okay, done. Okay. And let's see what it spits out. Oh my lord. Yeah, this volume is insane. Oh, oh, it's in the United States. Okay, sorry. The larger the service area, the cheaper it gets. I was just like, less than $1 per click. I just have never seen that before. Um,
Seattle's typically more expensive than anywhere else.
right. But if you do have a large service area, then that helps
Yeah.
a ton. Um, so Bothell, we'll put that in there. And then we'll put in Snohomish County. Yeah, I got a couple friends who live over in Seattle. We went to this bar. Have you been to the Scuttlebutt?
Yeah.
You have.
Yeah. I'm
Oh, that's
actually.
hilarious. I love
Yeah,
it there.
that's in Everett. I'm actually passing through Everett right now.
Yeah, yeah. Man,
Yep.
they were just open for like 2 months when I went over there. And I ran into
Okay.
my old captain from the Bob Hope over there.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he was just sitting there.
So
I'm like, wow.
that's right on the waterfront, right in Everett.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
In sort of like a industrial district.
Yep. I had a buddy that had a sailboat moored right there, so we used to go down there and grab, you know, things of beers and growlers and head out on a sailboat for a day of sailing and drinking.
Nice. Man,
Yep.
are you like you're talking like with a mast sailing?
Yeah.
Nice. That's cool. I
Yep.
took a sailing class in college, but you know, I don't have a sailboat, so I kind of lost the skill for it.
Yeah. I never really picked it up. I was just along for the ride. They would tell me what to do.
For the free beer and the occasional
Yeah.
tack.
Actually, I bought the beer for the pleasure of being on the boat.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Okay, so what this is telling me is for a budget of $1,000, 341 clicks um is what we might expect. Of course, we've got another service area in here too. Now, in my experience in the first month, anywhere between 1 in 3 and 1 in 5 clicks will turn into a call. And, we're also going to be optimizing, the lead quality and things like that. So I
Yeah.
just want to make sure that, you at least, see results and feel good about it and say, yeah, we tried it, we only made this much money. So it just wasn't enough and we kept with the other guys or something like that. Like, I don't want to go into something where it's not going to play out for you. And ideally, it'll work out amazingly for you. And I've got
Yeah.
testimonials. I'm really careful about over promising,
Yeah.
it's just not a smart move in marketing. But I do have testimonials where people have spent like I could show you the video. I had a concrete resurfacing client. She spent I think $1,500 with me the first month, and she made 30K. So she was like, "Yeah, get me on a video. I'm gonna tell everybody about this." You know, but
Yeah.
even they had slow months after that. It's just kind of it's how
Yeah.
it goes.
Yep.
You know, but hopefully, it evens out in a way that's super beneficial.
Yeah.
So 341 out of that, between 1 in 3 and 1 out of every 5 is going to turn into a call. So that would be best case scenario over 100 calls. Worst case scenario, we'll even say like we'll say 1 in 6. 341 divided by 6. Yeah, so like you know, I would be pretty comfortable. It's saying like worst case scenario for a budget of $1,000, about 50-55 calls or something like that. Do you think with your close rate, which is probably, most insulation businesses have a close rate of like, 40% when somebody's in the service area and they're looking for your service, um, would
Yeah.
would you think that would be worth it for you to go into it at that rate?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
That's more than we're getting now with the 2,000 a month budget.
Yeah, that would be great, you know. So I'll do my best with it, and let's just say
Yeah,
1,500 for the month, you know,
that's
with that
awesome. Yeah,
500.
I'll be down to get this going.
Absolutely, man.
Thinking I should hang on to the other company until we
Yes.
see some results.
Absolutely, man. I don't want you to put anything in, like, if you've got something that works, don't get rid of it, you know? Like my philosophy is
Yeah.
if one investment turns into at least two more clients, always keep it, you know? Because
The
it's
problem
just
is it
another.
doesn't seem to be working at that, even at a high cost
I see. Okay.
of 2,500 a month.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty rough, you know? I might ask them, like, "Can you show me a little bit about your campaigns and what you're doing? Because something's not adding up," you know?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's kind of where I'm at, you know, like, with me, for perfect transparency, expectations, you know, there's nothing that I don't want you to be educated on that you ask for, you know, but in the best
Yeah.
case scenario, everything just works, and, you know, we don't even have to talk every month. You know, it's just
Yeah.
autopilot. That's the goal. All right, man. So I'm gonna send you an onboarding form, and essentially it's gonna give me pretty much everything that I need to get started, minus some pictures. I'm gonna want as many pictures as you have available, you know, to build out this
Yep.
website. Um, you know, the Google Maps listing really helps, and that's something that you're gonna have to do on your end, but I'm gonna guide you through it because Google's really careful about who they approve and who they don't. They want to make sure that you're a legitimate business.
Yeah.
But that alone really turns into a ton of callers, you know, and I can actually help you rank up the business that you have as well. Just like I can show you what I do. I do it for like, it costs me like $50, you know, to usually get into the map pack, you know, 50, $60, and I'll be in the first three, you know, depending on the
Yep.
competition. So if your business is in the first three and the platform I build up is in the first three, then you're taking 2 out of 3 of the spots for people to click, you know? Nothing's wrong with that if you ask me. Um, so yeah, I guess it comes down to right now, sending you the onboarding form. I'll get the team started, and I'll take the retainer for the first month service fee. Whenever you're ready, man.
Yep.
Let's
Sounds great. Right.
awesome.
Do you need that right now?
It would help, but you're driving, so you know, before we do get started, you know,
Yeah.
I've had people kind of blow me off before, so I do need some sort of payment to get
No.
started.
No,
Yeah,
I understand about that. Yeah.
for sure.
Okay. Um, yep.
So would you like to do
But I
that
am at
now,
my
or would you like to
destination in about
not be driving?
15. Yeah, let me actually I'll be at my destination in about 15 minutes. Can I
Okay.
give you a call back then?
Yeah, sounds great, man.
Yep.
All right, man. I'll talk to you then.
All right, cool. Yep.
All right. Take it easy
All right,
with it.
thank you. Appreciate
Yeah.
it.
See ya.
You too. Bye.